Story time about why I hate my brother's girlfriend. So a little background information, I was 14 years old and had just started my freshman year of high school, and my brother and his girlfriend were both seniors. And we're gonna call his girlfriend Riley. Now, Riley and my brother started dating in the middle of the summer, and you would think since they just started dating and basically just met each other that I wouldn't know her that well. But literally 2 days after they started dating, she started spending every single day at my house. I'm being serious, like she had a whole duffel bag that had basically her closet in it. But that wasn't the problem. So in the summertime, my parents would plan a lot of family activities, and since they were called family activities, his girlfriend wasn't allowed to go. I mean, I think she would have been allowed to go, but she was also really disrespectful to my mom. So after one of our family days, my parents asked my brother if Riley would be joining us for dinner, and he just ignored them and went up to his room. And my room's right next to his, so I could hear everything. And Riley called him like for part 2. Part 2 about why I hate my brother's girlfriend. So like I said, my room was right next to my brother, so I could literally hear everything. And I guess Riley called him and she was complaining about me. She was like, she's the reason why your mom doesn't like me. I feel like she's jealous of me. She doesn't want us to be together, which was really weird because I didn't give a fuck about what my brother did. So fast forward, school finally starts, and Riley lived about 20 minutes away from us. So my brother told her that he couldn't go and pick her up for school every day, but obviously I would ride to school with him because we lived together. Anyways, eventually she had a problem with that too, so my brother and I had to start leaving 30 minutes early to get to school so we could pick her up. So the first time that we pick her up, we pull up to her house, and obviously I'm in the front seat and she's just standing there. So my brother rolls down the window and he's like, get in the fucking car, we're gonna be late. And then she literally has the audacity to start arguing with my brother in front of me about why she should get the front seat instead of me. Like for part 3. Part 3 about why I hated my brother's girlfriend. So like I said, once she got in, she started screaming about how she should get the front seat instead of me. So I turn around and I'm like, last time I checked, you've only been here for 2 months. Stay in your fucking lane. And then she starts crying because she's like, oh my god, your sister's so mean to me. Like, I just feel like I should have more respect as his girlfriend. So fast forward to the weekend, my mom said that she needs to have a talk with me. And she's like, honey, I know you may not like your brother's girlfriend, but you have to stop being mean to her. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've only had one conversation with her in the last week, and that was to tell her to stay in her fucking lane. And then I told her about everything going on, so she calls my brother down to ask him if it's true, and my brother was pretty pissed off at me, but he wouldn't lie. So my mom said that she was not allowed over the house anymore, and that he wasn't allowed to go pick her up from school until I got my license. So that just caused more problems between her and my brother, so he broke up with her. And then she started spreading rumors that she broke up with him because there was something weird going on between him and I.
My boyfriend and his friends trapped me in a house and assaulted me. Disclaimers did not my story time, send me on Instagram. I met my boyfriend in college last year. We had the same class, and during class I would always catch him staring at me. At first it was a little creepy, but once we started talking I realized how charming he was. One day he came up to me and just started asking me about where I was from, and right away I got these butterflies in my stomach. He was really attractive, and I could tell that the girls in our class all looked at him a certain way too. He asked me out on a date and I said yes, but when some of my friends found out that I was going on a date with him, they started telling me things. One of my friends told me that there was a rumor going around that he had assaulted another girl. I just couldn't picture him being that way. He didn't seem capable of anything like that. Later on that day, I got a message from another girl telling me the same thing. And when I asked for information about the girl he supposedly assaulted, they told me that they didn't remember her name. That apparently she just left school after it happened. Part 2 is up. My boyfriend and his friends trapped me in a house and assaulted me. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. After I heard about the rumors that he had assaulted a girl, I asked for evidence and nobody had any. Nobody even remembered the name of the girl. So I decided to go on the date with him. He took me on a picnic and at first it was really nice. He had asked me what some of my favorite foods were and he brought them all with him. He brought hummus and cherry tomatoes and chips. But 5 minutes into the picnic, he grabs me and kisses me. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't want to be kissed, I just didn't want it to happen so quickly. And he didn't even ask me for permission, which looking back now was the first red flag. After that, he couldn't keep his hands off of me. I never said no, so he just kept going. He kept touching my shoulder and my legs, and he would lean in and kiss me every now and then. By the end of the day, I was into it. The rest of the relationship, he was always a little bit aggressive. He never asked me if I wanted to do anything, he would just do it. A week after we started dating, he introduced me to his friends. One of them jokingly asked my boyfriend when it was his turn to take with me. Part 3 is up. My boyfriend and his friends trapped me in a house and assaulted me. Disclaimer, this is not my story time, it was sent me on Instagram. That's when one of his friends asked him when it was his turn to take with me. And although he was joking, it was disgusting. My boyfriend laughed though. He thought it was so funny. Mind you, this is the first time I'm ever meeting his group of friends. After that, there were a few incidents. On one occasion at a party, one of his friends forced me to dance with him for 3 minutes. All the while he kept grabbing my waist and my butt. Finally, my boyfriend came back and I told him and he just laughed. Another time we were at the beach and one of his friends came up behind me and undid my bikini top. Essentially, I flashed everyone. Stuff like that kept happening until the night of the incident. All walking back from a club when we stopped at a house. It looked abandoned and my boyfriend insisted that we all go in. I said no, but he finally convinced me. And as soon as we get into the house, my boyfriend tells me that I need to run. He looked so serious that I actually ran up the stairs. Then I could feel all of them chasing me. One of them grabbed my shirt and ripped it. And I got into one of the rooms. I tried to close the door, but they opened it. And another one grabbed my hair and pushed me up against a wall. He started trying to kiss me, but I bit him. I ran into another room and one of them was already there. He tripped me and when I fell to the ground, he grabbed my neck. Then he started saying that I've been teasing them this whole time. Finished tearing my shirt and took it off. I was screaming at the top of my lungs at this point. Another one of the guys came in and I was able to get up and run. They chased me around the house for what seemed like an eternity, but it was probably only 30 seconds. And that's when I realized that the only person I hadn't seen was my boyfriend. And I remembered the rumors about my boyfriend having assaulted a girl. I realized that it was true, and that I was just his next victim. Only this time his friends were involved. Part 4 is up. My boyfriend and his friends trapped me in a house and assaulted me. As I'm hiding in a corner hoping that none of them find me, I hear footsteps walking towards me. I realize that this is probably where they had brought the other girl to assault her, and that they knew every corner of this house, so there was no way for me to hide. Suddenly, I feel someone grab my elbow and pull me up. It was the friend that had torn my shirt and told me that I was teasing them. Immediately, he pins my arms behind me and starts trying to kiss me. Then he actually said that I should be flattered because they all find me so beautiful, and that the more I fight back, the funner it is for them. Suddenly, I hear my boyfriend yell stop, runs up the stairs and into the room. At this point, the other 3 guys were in the room, just watching the other one kiss me. Then he said the joke is over. He grabs me and takes me out of the house. That's when I turned to him and say that the rumors were true this whole time. Then he grabbed me by the shoulders, looked me in the face and said that she had wanted it, and that his friends and him were just joking around in the house. Dropped me off at my dorm and the next morning I woke up with bruises and hickeys all over my body. I reported it to the school but they've done nothing. My boyfriend keeps swearing that it's a joke. I blocked him but he keeps showing up at my door. He's being sweet and even sending me groceries. After my boyfriend and his 4 friends tried to assault me, they told me that it was a joke. But guess what? My boyfriend held me hostage in his apartment for 4 hours before he let me leave. I took your guys' advice and I decided to break up with him. Went to his place and knocked on his door. As soon as he opened the door, I told him I was leaving him. I had no intention of entering his apartment, but he grabbed my hand, pulled me in, and locked the door behind me. Then again, he started swearing up and down that him and his friends were not trying to actually assault me, and that what they did was just a really bad joke. I told him that I took pictures of all of the evidence, all of the ripped clothes and the bruises all over my body, and the saliva they left on me. And he said that I was overreacting. After they chased me around in a house, threw me down on the ground, held me down, and forcibly kissed me, I was overreacting? Then he grabbed me and started trying to kiss me. He said that if we did the dirty, we would connect again and I would feel his love. I pushed him off and then he got really angry. He said he wouldn't let me leave until I changed my mind. Then he grabbed me again and tried to kiss me again. Of course I pulled away and then he just threw me on the couch. And he proceeded to talk to me for 3 hours telling me how much of a bad girlfriend I am. When he finally let me go, I went straight to my parents' house and straight to the cops and gave them all the evidence. They said that to test the evidence they would need at least 6 months. Now my boyfriend showed up to my house with his friends and guess what they did? Part 2 is up. That's when all the guys who assaulted me showed up to my parents' house where I was hiding. I was home alone because my parents were both at work. Hear a knock on the door and I did not expect it to be them, so of course I went and opened the door. Big mistake. As soon as I saw all of their perverted faces, I tried closing the door but they pushed in. And they came straight into the house without even asking for permission, once again violating me. My boyfriend grabbed my face gently and tried to kiss me. When I pulled away, he said, I understand why you're upset. That's why I brought all these guys over here so we could apologize to you. At this point, I'm terrified. I'm alone and vulnerable, and these guys are the ones that were chasing me up and down the house trying to rip my clothes off. I could tell in their faces that they wanted to jump me again. They all just stared at me, like right through me. Suddenly, one of them grabbed my hand and said, we just wanted to apologize. We took the joke too far and we want you to know that we weren't trying to hurt you. I pulled my hand away and asked them to leave. My boyfriend said, no, we're planning on staying with you for a little bit. Then they all went into the living room and sat down. That's when my boyfriend took me into the kitchen and asked me to serve them drinks. It's just another way for them to try to control me and play their sadistic games. Guess what happens next? Part 3 is up. That's when my boyfriend forced me to go in the kitchen and get my attackers drinks. That's when I made the decision to play along so that they wouldn't hurt me. Got them drinks and put them down on the table. They all just stared at me without saying nothing. Their disgusting perverted eyes all over my body. And that's when I realized I was in a really tight workout set. I remembered I had a hoodie in the kitchen and I went and put it on. Even though I put on that damn hoodie, I still felt naked. It felt like they could see right through my clothes. I grabbed a knife and put it in my hoodie. I come back outside and my boyfriend asks me if I'm gonna accept their apology. And I said yes. I knew it was the only way they would leave me alone. I looked at all of them and I said, I accept your apology. Then one of the other guys says, so you won't go to the cops? And I said, for what? And he said, you know, for messing with you. That's when the other guys told him to shut up. Finally, one of them stood up and said, you know you liked it. My boyfriend grabbed him and pushed him down on the floor. My boyfriend finally told them all to leave. As soon as I did, I locked all the doors and windows. So now these guys know where I live. I called my parents and they came home. What do I do?